Hi there, welcome back to my latest video. It's been a while. So this layout that I'm going to create today is using Hip Kit January kits, and it's actually a layout I closed my eyes one night going to bed and just pictured this. A little different to how I pictured it, but the whole idea was it's going to be these hexagons. This is a Whimsy Fox Crafts cut file from Etsy, by the way. So it's going to be these hexagons which will stay in the paper, do all this mixed media, and then take the hexagons out, turn some around, replace them with pattern paper, and take it from there. So saw quickly the sketch I made of it. I was going to leave it on the mat, but because it's been sat on my mat for nearly a month, it wasn't really sticking properly, and I didn't want to ruin the mat because it was starting to lift. So I have took it off the mat and put all the hexagons back in with a bit of washi tape. Just choosing my pictures here, I actually ended up going with the one, just that one of me and Mr. Ding. That's in a pub in Durham. Friday a couple of weeks ago when we went up to the northeast for a weekend away. So our first adventure of 2020. Oh my gosh, 2020 already. So here we go, starting the mixed media. We have got Vicky Boughton crayons, art crayons. Just scribble a bit on a piece of acetate, pop some water on it, and then do a couple of drips in the kissing technique. So just kissing the acetate to the layout. I do bring on the stickers, puffy stickers, just to make sure that I don't need to, add anything to the colour to make it match a little bit closer, but I'm really happy with the match. I dripped a bit up at the top, so I was trying to spread the blue out a little bit more to make it look like that. Okay, so I've just gone off to dry it and back, and now I'm going to add a darker blue. So same again, scribbling the crayon on, adding the water. Just like my little pop-up pot, I think that's fab. And it's Foundations cardstock, by the way, I forgot to mention it's Vicky Boughton Foundation cardstock. Decided I wanted some drips running down the page with this one, so just adding more water to get some more drips, and then just really helps with drips if you start them off with your brush so they go where you want them to go. I'm just picking the bit up that's gone round the back of one of the hexagons. Okay, now what I do is I just add a little bit, just a touch of water to a couple to get them to run down. Just really, really love how that looks. And then getting a rounded brush to do some splatters. So if your splatters don't work, it's because you've not got a rounded brush. There we go, adding more now, and then off to dry it in a moment. Bit more clean up before I do that though. Just make sure you can see it under the camera properly. So back with it all dry, and now I'm going to choose another colour. Oh, go on yellow. I love adding yellow to layouts because it's basically a happy colour. Now I'm choosing a stencil, so I'm going to dry stencil this through, and then I'm getting another stencil out for some texture paste in a minute. There we go. So just pick art crayon on this acetate, picking it up with the brush, so you just circular motions over the art crayon to pick up the crayon onto your brush, and then circular motions over your stencil, which, as you can see there, puts the colour down. Keep bringing the photo back in just to make sure everything's still poking out and visible around the photo. Not getting too worried about in terms of it poking out behind hexagons, because a lot of hexagons are going to move. Just adding a little bit more to the corners there. Okay, so I don't usually use big open space stencils because what's about to happen usually happens when I use them. Okay, so I'm just getting my gold glaze. This is old pot glaze which is starting to dry up, and I actually whilst I'm doing this, decide to bin it. Just because it's big open spaces, I am going to tape it down. Don't normally tape my stencils down, but I'm just getting really worried about this being big open, and to be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to use this too much in the future with texture paste, because I'm not very good, as I said, with big open spaces on stencils, and you'll see here I do actually end up going through under the stencil quite a bit. So I initially think it's because of the old texture paste, and I get rid of that, bin that, and go and get my new pot. So just coming back in with my new pot and trying to pick a bit up off there, I just give up. I'm going to do these down in the bottom. I think I overwork it. I think that's where I've gone wrong with it. So yeah, you can see there's a little bit there between two of the hearts. Try to pick it up and actually end up making it a little worse. And then I'm going to do a little heart on its own up at the top. Okay, so took that away, got that dried, and now I'm coming in with the iridescent. Now you can see on the gold glaze it's puffy a little bit. That's because I'm too impatient to let it dry, and I dry it with a heat gun. Now, if you do with a heat gun, you get like this skin on it that puffs up. I actually really like that look because it gives it a little bit more texture, so I don't mind it. And I do it again on this, and I think as well when it puffs up like that, it doesn't puff up on the bit that's gone under the stencil because it's not as thick, so it does give you clearer lines if you have gone wrong. This is just the iridescent paste, so this is it looks silver there, but it's not silver. It is white with an iridescent shimmer in it. And I do make a couple of mistakes going onto the stencil with this one as well, because some of the leaves aren't, or some of the blossoms aren't fastened. So again, dry that with a heat gun, taking the washi off the back to then release the hexagons, so I can start moving them about and deciding where I like them. So take them out. So with the glaze, some of them just need the glaze peeling off the edge of when I take them out. Okay, and now I'm just auditioning pattern papers, because I've decided that some of the hexagons aren't going in, so instead of replacing the hexagons with pattern paper, I'm just going to have pattern paper showing from underneath. And now I'm just having to play with where some of the hexagons are going to go back in. Do not go back in like this in the end. Completely different in the end. And then decide, I don't really think that paper's right. Choose this one, which I think is a pink fresh one. My Story, I think it is. Just trimming it down now. Silly me didn't line up the paper properly in the trimmer, so it's a bit wonky. So I'm trying to get that straight. I end up cutting off another 16th. So this is 11 and 15/16 rather than 12 by 12. And because of the jagged edge, when you pull the foundations paper out, I like to trim down the foundations paper and have a little border of pattern paper or whatever I'm mounting it on. So I'm just taking 1/4 of an inch from each side there, and then popping it back onto the pattern paper. Playing about again with where my hexagons are going, which again ends up changing. I'm just making sure you know where they are compared to my photo and everything looks good. That completely changes again. It's just I don't know why I'm playing with them at this point. But I think I do end up putting that drippy one right there again, because I really, really like how it's dripping down. So I'm just going to take these back off again in a minute. There we go. And stick it down. Now, don't panic about the amount of adhesive I use here. I don't normally use this much adhesive. It's just because with the mixed media, the card's a little bit buckled, and I just want to make sure it does stick in all places to the pattern paper. And it's not buckled because the mixed media, it's buckled because I dried it with a heat gun on quite hot heat. So I've actually done that to the paper myself. Oops. Okay, so some of my hexagons are going to be 3D'd up, so I'm just cutting some 3D foam there. That is the Kids Craft self-adhesive craft foam. I got that from Hobbycraft. Really cheap, so you know it's really it's a lot easier than foam squares and messing about with foam squares. Okay, so I then start getting, here we go, scraps out, using a bit of the packaging as well from the Pink Fresh studio pack of embellishments we get. Just cutting strips off, and I go for a few layers with this. I initially wasn't going to put pink. Haven't yet, but I do in the end, because I think, you know, there's going to be pink embellishments on it, so I do need a bit of pink on my matting for the photo just to bring everything in. So here we go, just using the packaging from Pink Fresh, because I just love, Hip Kit does it as well, it's probably because Pink Fresh make their embellishments for them, but the backing papers in all their embellishments are usable pieces of pattern paper. It's brilliant, I love it. Okay, here we go, spot of pink, which I do just get the scissors and cut. Okay, then decide actually that yellow needs something, some red or pink between it and the hearts, the gold hearts, because the yellow straight onto the gold doesn't really stand out. So just decide on using a corner of this paper and just figuring it out now. I actually end up as well putting, there we go, on the trimmer and straightening that out. Okay, so, oh, excuse me while I mess and try and get this piece of slip of paper out that I've got stuck in my runner. Okay, so that's all my layers done. And now I'm going to get my hexagons stuck down. So when they don't move again, this is it now. So when I put the photo down, I've put the foam on the back and then decide actually it's takes the photo a little bit too high. I want to bring the photo down, and so I'm going to peel a bit of the foam up and then cut a strip off and then go fishing in the waste bin. That goes in the waste because it's shiny and our recycling doesn't take shiny paper, so that's put back onto the release paper and put to one side for later. Now going through my stickers and deciding on my title. So I just want to try and use these big words because I usually end up with some of these left, and I really like that "love you more," but it means moving around which hexagons up on the 3D, and I didn't want to change that, so I went for this smile. I'm now messing about getting the little pips out of the loops, which anybody else get frustrated with that? Sometimes they come straight off and they're left behind on the paper, and sometimes you have such a faff to get them off. I mean, this one, so it comes away with press it with the scissors and I just can't get hold of it. There we go. And yes, I'm getting my rule out to make sure that that is straight. Don't forget your dot for your eye. Okay, so yeah, get the picture stuck down and then I start going through my die cuts. Oh no, words first. Just playing about with some of those other words. There's another word I want to use, but it's the same colour as the adore, and I wanted a third colour. So I just decided with the triangle with my smile, adore and happy. Now going through the die cuts and taking out what I think might work. We're in a pub, so I thought those house ones and the drinks might work. I still need to do the journaling on that speech bubble actually. That's a thought. Okay, so just going through, getting more out that I think might go with it. Then when I've gone through them all, I'll put what I'm not going to use back in the pot and just play about with what's going where. So probably have a few layouts from this weekend. Last year we went away nearly every month apart from August, just weekends away, which is really nice. And we didn't get to go away in January this year, so it was really nice just to get away in February. Just playing about with the embellishments now, and I like to, you'll notice this on quite a lot of my layouts, I like to use the different layers of the paper behind the photo, so I don't put my tucky in bits on my embellishments in the same place on the same layer, so they go into different layers to add to that layering effect behind the photo. Okay, so this has got a couple of words around the edge, and decide that I want to use both sets of words, and you're going to lose half a circle under the picture anyway, so cut it in half, and then move one of those pink ones, because a lot of green down there, so move one of the pinks there, and the green up there, just to spread the pink in a different spot in the page. And you'll notice kind of like floaty embellishments over the other side for my triangle. Really loving just randomly putting words anywhere on the page at the minute. Okay, so going through the other box of die cut ephemera now for some other bits. I don't think I get much out of this box. A couple of labels with sentiments on. Okay, and then I decide to stick everything down because I'm happy with where it is before I start putting anything else on and going through those. Really lovely. They're like fabric, the circles that I've just flashed up. I'm going to start putting them on in a minute. They're really nice. They're like chipboard covered in fabric. I am nearly done, I believe. So once these stuck down, I just put a couple of those fabric circles on in 3 points. Nearly there. Okay, so bring those fabric circles back on. And so they don't stay here, because if you have a look, I put the orange near the orange, and that pink's going to be where the pink, so we've moved them around so they're next to a different colour to spread the colour about. There we go. And I think that's it. Oh no, a couple of hearts. So I put my 3 hearts on, and then we're done. So thanks for watching. Bye.